Welcome to the front line of HR, where standards are set and accountability is enforced. My name is Harry Fox. I am the HR drill sergeant. Welcome to the only channel dedicated to building an elite, mission ready for workforces through structure, accountability, and ruthless force on human potential. This is part 3 of 4 in Where You're Pippin' Wrong series. Today's operation is called You're Pippin' Wrong. Manage the PIP like a leader. In part 1, we stopped using PIPs as punishment. In part 2, we built a plan with measurable goals and real support. Now comes the part that too many managers botch. I'm not saying you watching this video, but many managers botch this. Managing the PIP after it begins. Because a PIP is not a set and forget it thing. This ain't a slow cooker. This is leadership under supervision. Now, once the PIP is active, you need consistent check-ins and not just the random drive-by conversation. No, none of that. That's all right too. Don't get me wrong, but and we don't want to do we will see how it goes. Leaders, you need to schedule the meetings, review the goals, discuss progress, and document what improved and what did not, what support was provided, and what comes next. In the Army, we have land navigation. I know other military services have it, but from my experience being in the Army, that's what I'm going to talk about. In land navigation, we use a map and a compass and a protractor and stuff like this. Now, you don't just take out the compass and do one reading at the start point and go. No, you plot out where you're going to go. That's your PIP. But then when you get going, you're going to pull out that compass and that map, and you're going to go forward. You're going to do that regularly. You're not just going to blindly walk. Hey, I need to walk this path, and all right, and never check it again because you find yourself way off course. So you're not going to blindly march until you think you've reached the objective. You do regular check-ins with your compass, confirm your position on the map, and you're going to scan for obstacles that were not marked, but are now directly in your path, because we know that maps represent what's on the earth, but not everything that's on the earth. Things change, maps change. So now, and we're not in the means of PIPs. The PIP requires the same discipline. Frequent check-ins show whether the employee is still on course, whether conditions have changed, whether support needs to be adjusted. Because remember, small course corrections along the way are far easier and far fairer than reaching what you thought was the end, only to discover you are far off course. Now, managers, I need you to hear me clearly on this. Documentation is not just for discipline. Documentation is for accuracy. I know in HR, we love to document, but it's not just for discipline. Documentation is for accuracy. If the employee improves, write it down. If they miss the mark, write it down. If they ask for help, write that down. If you provide coaching, write that down. Your note should tell the story of the progress, not just the ending. Also, I repeat, do not move the goalpost. If the PIP says success means meeting 3 defined standards, do not add a 4th standard at the finish line because you are still frustrated. That's unfair, and it damages trust, which in turn damages employee turnover, increases turnover, reduces retention, all the other good stuff that we don't want to talk about. I can talk about that in a later video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about that issue. Speaking of that, if you're liking this video and this series on my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. On with the show. At the end, there are usually three outcomes, and most people who do PIPs know this. One, the employee meets the plan, and in that case, you transition back to normal performance management and with continued monitoring. Second, the employee partially improves, and the leadership decides whether an extension or revised support makes sense. And third, the employee does not meet expectations, and the organization considers next steps consistent with policies, documentation, and legal guidance. Now, remember this. This is a part that leaders are not going to like at all, but tough sprinkles. PIPs act like leadership evaluations too. Remember, leaders, you are also getting evaluated on this PIP. They show whether the leader can diagnose the real issue, provide the right support, enforce the standard, and turn the employee around when improvement is possible. If the employee fails because the leader never trained, never clarified, never followed up, or never enforced expectations consistently, that failure does not sit on the employee alone. That is all on you, the leader. All right. And your superior leader should be looking at this. If you didn't do this, why are we even continuing this PIP? All right. This is on you. If you show up at the end of the PIP to announce failure, you failed first, leaders. And I will say this again. Leaders, if you just show up at the end of the PIP to announce the failure, you failed first. You are the core problem. Leaders inspect progress while there is still time to improve. Now, the right way to PIP, to do a performance improvement plan, is simple, but not easy. Coach early, write clearly, support honestly, and check in consistently and document fairly. That's how you protect the employee, the manager, and the organization. So go ahead and lock down your standards, eliminate the excess, lead from the front. Hey, this is the HR drill sergeant saying, I will see you in the C suite. Dismiss. Oh, before I go, in part 4, we are going to cover how to prevent PIPs before they start by teaching, coaching, mentoring, and correcting issues before they become formal performance issues. I wish you all the best of luck. Have a wonderful day. This is the HR Drill Sergeant saying I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.